Sidney Poitier broke Hollywood's color barriers, proving talent could transcend prejudice. Ray Stevenson, the Irish-born action star, reminded us that raw grit can dominate the screen. Olivia Newton-John's soaring voice turned pop anthems into timeless, emotional landscapes. Sinead O'Connor's fierce protest song still echoes as a rallying cry for artistic freedom. Donald Sutherland's chilling presence taught generations that menace can be both subtle and unforgettable. Jerry Springer turned daytime television into a cultural arena where every confession sparked a national conversation. Whitney Houston's vocal power reshaped pop, proving a single note could change an entire era. Toby Keith's country anthems reminded America that grit and patriotism can coexist in a catchy chorus. Matthew Perry's sarcastic wit on Friends made the neurotic everyman a beloved fixture of sitcom history. Shelley Duvall's haunting performances lingered, showing that vulnerability on screen can become unforgettable cinema. The night of the 2023 Cannes Film Festival, a sudden hush fell over the red carpet crowd as Leonardo DiCaprio stepped onto the balcony of the Palais des Festivals, his eyes fixed on the glittering sea of lights below. In that moment, the camera caught more than a star arriving. It captured a cultural force poised to reshape the conversation about cinema, climate, and celebrity activism. He was there not for a new blockbuster premiere, but to champion a climate summit hosted by the festival, reminding the world that the fight for a livable planet is as dramatic and urgent as any script. Even as the applause faded, DiCaprio's presence sparked a cascade of social media memes, TikTok edits, and fashion commentary. Within minutes, his tailored navy suit was dissected for its sustainable fabric credits, his wristwatch for its ethical sourcing, and his every gesture for clues about his next move. That instant ripple illustrates a new kind of celebrity capital, influence that can be measured in policy discussions as much as in box office numbers. Born in Los Angeles in 1974, Leonardo's early life was unremarkable by Hollywood standards. A middle-class upbringing, a love of fishing, and a penchant for playing baseball with neighborhood friends. Yet the same restless curiosity that led him to the Sandlot also drove him toward the camera. At 11, a casting call for a commercial landed him his first on-screen credit, and by the time he was 14, a gritty New York-based drama called What's Eating Gilbert Grape earned him an Academy Award nomination. Critics noted a raw intensity that seemed to outgrow his years, a quality that would become his signature. What set DiCaprio apart from many child actors was his refusal to be pigeonholed. After the teenage heartthrob success of Titanic, a film that turned him into a global icon, he deliberately chose roles that challenged both his craft and the industry's expectations. He teamed up with visionary directors Martin Scorsese, Christopher Nolan, Alejandro González Iñárritu, each collaboration turning into a cultural moment. The Aviator reimagined the rise of Howard Hughes, while Inception redefined narrative complexity for mainstream audiences. With each performance, DiCaprio didn't just inhabit a character, he introduced new visual vocabularies that filtered into advertising, video games, and even academic discourse on postmodern storytelling. but it is his off-screen initiatives that have reshaped the very infrastructure of Hollywood. In 2004, he co-founded Appian Way, a production company that has consistently championed environmentally conscious filmmaking. The company's first major project, The 11th Hour, paired a star-studded cast with a stark warning about ecological collapse, setting a precedent for celebrity-driven documentary financing. That same year, DiCaprio launched the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, a non-profit that now channels over $200 million into climate-related research, indigenous rights, and renewable energy projects. The Foundation's strategic partnerships with organizations like the World Wildlife Fund and the United Nations have turned a personal passion into a global policy lever. The impact of his activism is palpable in the cultural lexicon. Phrases like DiCaprio Green have entered industry shorthand, describing productions that meet rigorous sustainability standards, from carbon offset set designs to zero-waste catering. Film festivals now often feature green panels, a direct response to his persistent lobbying for environmentally responsible practices. Even streaming giants have been forced to reconsider their carbon footprints, citing DiCaprio's public critiques as a catalyst for internal audits and greener content delivery models. Beyond the environmental arena, his influence permeates fashion and popular aesthetics. When he appears at an event, stylists scramble to decode his sartorial choices, translating them into runway trends for the next season. His preference for vintage leather jackets, minimalist tailoring, and subtle accessories has birthed a DiCaprio cool subculture, where fans emulate his understated elegance as a statement against fast fashion excess. This ripple effect has prompted major brands to launch capsule collections that highlight sustainable materials, directly linking consumer desire to his advocacy. In the realm of fandom, DiCaprio's digital footprint is a case study in modern celebrity engagement. Unlike many A-list actors who guard their private lives, he curates a social media presence that balances personal moments, such as a quiet sunrise photo from a remote island, with hard-hitting climate alerts. His Instagram posts regularly generate millions of impressions, turning each image into an informational vector for policy campaigns. The result is a fan base that is as politically active as it is admiring. Online petitions for climate legislation often cite his posts as motivational sparks. The narrative of his career also reflects a broader shift in Hollywood's power dynamics. By insisting on profit-sharing models that allocate a percentage of a film's earnings to environmental initiatives, DiCaprio has forced studios to reckon with the long-term costs of production. His negotiations for The Revenant included a clause that mandated the use of recycled set materials, a precedent that now appears in contract templates for big-budget movies. This approach has turned the once-hidden economics of filmmaking into a public conversation, empowering audience members to demand transparency. Even his choice of roles serves as a cultural barometer. In The Wolf of Wall Street, he portrayed excess with a satirical edge that resonated during a period of financial deregulation. In The Great Gatsby, his performance highlighted the hollowness of the American doctoreme, a theme that resurfaced in political discourse during the 2016 election cycle. More recently, his involvement in Don't Look Up, both as a producer and a vocal advocate for the film's release strategy, leveraged satire to critique media apathy toward existential threats, reinforcing his reputation as an artist who bends narrative to mirror societal anxieties. DiCaprio's ongoing projects continue to blur the line between entertainment and activism. His upcoming collaboration with director Martin Scorsese on Killers of the Flower Moon promises to bring attention to the historical injustices faced by Native American communities, a subject that aligns with his foundation's focus on indigenous rights. Simultaneously, he is developing a series on renewable energy innovations for a major streaming platform, a venture that could redefine how documentary storytelling reaches mainstream audiences. The cultural imprint of Leonardo DiCaprio is not a static monument. It is a living, evolving conversation. Each new role, each public appearance, each foundation grant adds a layer to a narrative that stretches across cinema, environmental policy, fashion, and digital activism. He stands among the legends whose names once opened the doors of cultural dialogue: Sidney Poitier, Whitney Houston, Matthew Perry. Yet his story is still being written, his influence still expanding. As the world watches his next move, one thing is clear: Leonardo DiCaprio remains a catalyst, a provocateur, and a bridge between the artistic imagination and the urgent realities of the planet we share. In the bustling streets of Los Angeles, in the quiet corridors of a UN climate conference, and on the silver screen that flickers in homes worldwide, the name Leonardo DiCaprio continues to echo. It is a reminder that cultural legacy is not a finished chapter, but a living manuscript, one that he, with every breath and every choice, continues to author.